up, everybody, and welcome into the Green Lounge.
The Green Lounge. Welcome to the Green Lounge.
That rolls off the tongue.
It really rolls off the tongue. You keep saying it a bunch of different ways. I like this guy, man. JaMychal Green coming over to Denver. We talked when it was happening in the playoffs. I thought JaMychal Green guarded Jokic better than anybody else. Certainly better than Montrezl Harrell, Ivica Zubac. Thought he was the best option. Fortunately for us, Doc Rivers disagreed.
That's right.
Did not
Shout
play
out
him very
Doc.
much. But you know what? Who also agreed that the Nuggets were just a dope team that would be fun to play with?
JaMychal Green.
JaMychal Green. He
JaMychal
looks
Green.
happy to be here.
Love it.
Yeah. He looks very okay with not being on the Clippers anymore. He sounds very okay with that.
He definitely does. Somebody said that he's our Andre Iguodala.
I said that.
Oh, that was you.
Adam has
That's
the
what I
worst
said.
memory, dude.
Did I say that or did he say it? We both said it. So he said it once, I said it
You
once.
said it. We said it. Sorry, we said it.
Let's take a look at his stats last year, guys. Over for the Clippers. Not very impressive. 6.8 points, 6 rebounds. You know, the three-point number, though. Look at that. 39%. We got ourselves a second Paul Millsap here, fellas.
Ew.
What do you think, Brendan? What sticks out?
Well, it looks like we got ourselves a second Paul Millsap, fellas.
We do say that.
The rebounding, which modest numbers there, but again, not a lot of opportunity. I bring up the rebounding because he'll be viewed this season more of as a Jerami Grant replacement. That's one thing Jerami Grant really did not do, gentlemen.
Yeah.
So it's something that right out of the gate, I think Green does better than Grant, even considering the fact that Grant has played in far larger roles.
Yeah. Just speaking as a natural four-man, he's more equipped to be a four-man than Jerami Grant was, just from a rebounding standpoint, like you said, Vogt. The three-point shot, the ability to stretch the floor is there. And just from a physicality standpoint, like you mentioned, Adam, him guarding Nikola Jokic, he's a much better interior defender than Jerami Grant was. So it's an interesting comparison from that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, I just do love that finally a player scorns a big market team to choose to come to the Denver Nuggets.
True.
The reverse Andre Iguodala, our beloved JaMychal Green. I'm going to love him forever for the irrational reasons for this point. But I do remember just playing the Clippers in the playoffs and just thinking JaMychal Green, like when he was open and was shooting a three, that mofo was going in and being scared by it.
He had like that one game where he was just on fire.
Absolutely.
And
And to your point, like he just was not used well, and it was to the fall of Doc Rivers. Like he just didn't see what we apparently see in JaMychal Green. I'm really excited for what he can bring, and especially, I don't know how disheartened we all were that we were also then spurned by Jerami Grant. Like I can't think of a player that is more, just on the same level. Just slide right in.
Right.
It's like, okay, fine. Let's move forward. This is a great addition.
So tell me if this fits a mold you're familiar with, guys. A player that's undrafted, a player that maybe is always on teams that overperform. You think, they're not going to be good, but it turns out they are. Small market, doesn't get a lot of recognition. And to your point, he went to the big market, didn't like it, came back.
Yeah, that's right.
He's back home. That's him. So my question here, we go to the big question with it. He fits, I think, the Nuggets culture. Can he fully replace Jerami Grant? Like, what are we missing at? We've kind of hinted at this. I'll start with you this time, Wind. Do you think he can be a one-to-one replacement of Jerami Grant?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm going to say no. Because in a playoff setting, I would much rather have Jerami Grant than JaMychal Green. In a regular season setting, though, I would much rather have JaMychal Green than Jerami Grant. The number one skill that Jerami Grant added to this Nuggets team was perimeter defense. And that was what his biggest value was going to be to the Nuggets in the coming seasons. That was, in my opinion, the biggest thing he brought to this team and would have. JaMychal Green, he's just a little bit of a different player. He's more of a natural four. He's more of an interior defender, not a perimeter defender. So they're just different in that aspect. And at the highest level of competition, I would just prefer the very specific skill set that Jerami Grant brought compared to JaMychal Green.
Yeah, everyone's going to bring up the Grant comparisons because one's in and one's out, but I look at it as more of an eventual Paul Millsap replacement than a Jerami Grant. I think Wynn's right. There was a very, very specific thing that Jerami Grant did here in Denver that shot his value up to the point that both Denver and Detroit were willing to offer him $60 million guaranteed. And in my view, that was guard the Kawhi Leonards of the world.
Yeah.
And Grant can do Green can do a lot that Grant could across 72, but he can't do that.
You're
And so
right.
for that reason alone, it's a no.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's the athletic defense that you don't see with JaMychal Green. You don't think of him as like wiry, and you don't think of him as sort of tenacious. You
Fluid
see,
either.
Yeah, he just seems like solid, and he seems like dependable, right? More than anything.
Right.
I mean, we've brought this up ad nauseum, but as good as Green was, or Grant was in the playoffs, defensively, I mean, he still got cooked.
Yeah.
He still got
Yeah.
cooked. Like, if you look at his play, I mean, it's funny. You look at that map where you have everyone's little head, and he was the worst, player and it's because he was always up against like LeBron James
Maybe.
or Kawhi Leonard or whatever.
Maybe.
So he definitely deterred those players, but he certainly didn't stop them. So,
Sure.
He's not a 1-to-1 in that they don't play the exact same style of game. But as far as contributions are concerned, I mean, probably I imagine a world where Green contributes more on offense to Grant's defense. And so in the end, they sort of contribute the same amount through different modalities.
Right.
But
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. I actually do think it's going to be closer to a 1-to-1 replacement than most. And part of this is less to do about JaMychal Green and more to do with Jerami Grant. I don't think he brought all of the things that people thought he did.
Right.
I think he had a little bit of that. He has the great body. Like, he just looks like an NBA player, so long, and it just looks like he should be more impactful than what he actually was. That's my opinion on it. I do think in the playoffs, though, Denver's just thin at that one position, so it might end up looking like they're missing that specific mold, but I think JaMychal Green actually makes up for him. Let's go on now to our shocking stat. I can't wait to shock you guys. This might be my first for real shocking stat. For real shocking stat. And as you can see here, we're going to compare. I know we're doing a little bit of the analytics magic here.
Sure.
We're doing
We
a little
love
bit,
analytics,
a little,
baby.
A little magic because we're manipulating numbers to kind of show what we want. But I think there is something here. I'm going to compare the per 36 minutes of Jerami Grant last season with the Nuggets and JaMychal Green 2 seasons ago before Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard, Paul George arrived, changed that entire team. Everybody just became spot-up shooters. Nobody liked it. But 2 years ago, they were that upstart team that surprised everyone. And if you look at it here, this is what's so crazy about it. If you compare the numbers, they're literally identical. And this is why I think it would be something, if they were a little bit off and we were really fudging it. But if you go at points, 16.2 to 16, you go to 3-point percentage, 39 to 40, you go to 2-point percentage, 54 to 53. Even the rate at which they were taking those shots, almost identical. So a per 36-minute production from these guys in their most recent year when they were in a similar role, they were pretty identical offensively. So much of what we talk about when we compare these guys is comparing them defensively. Can JaMychal guard this or that? But I just think it's important that offensively, what Jerami Grant brought to the table, JaMychal Green also brings to the table.
The only thing is Jermi Grant has at times done this already across 36 minutes, which is like a question we still have to ask of JaMychal Green, Sometimes starring in your role means I can do this for 5 minutes at a time.
Well, he has done it, though. I mean, you're right that the numbers maybe... Actually, no, he has done it when he got starters minutes. He was putting up those similar ones in Memphis.
But look, I mean, that's all to say. 38 to 40% three-point shooter.
Right.
He can do it.
Right.
He's going to be a better rebounder.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really easy to forget now, but Jerami Grant was not a big part of what Denver was doing last season.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I just think that JaMychal Green is really a solid player. He's just a good basketball player, knows how to play, is tough, is physical, not going to back down from anyone, is kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none, but he's just solid across the board. Across the board.
Let's go to our bold predictions, guys, here on JaMychal Green. Let's get bold. Let's see how bold we can get.
I got to think based on past history, some bold takes are coming.
I'm guessing JaMychal Green is in your rotation.
I already
You already blew your wad?
blew mine and told it to you, but he's going to start by the end of the season.
So it's not that he'll start 30 games. It's that by the end of the season, he's the unquestioned starter.
The starting four now,
Yeah,
and I think
okay.
that even in the playoffs.
It's certainly on the table. I mean, part of this is Millsap. Let's be honest. We have one preseason game and some playoff games. He looks like he's aging.
Guys,
so
yeah.
maybe this is it more in your mind a demotion of Paul Millsap or a promotion of JaMychal Green?
I mean, probably the former. More, I would just say a natural progression of things.
Yeah. That is a nice way of.
Yeah,
It's like
very political
putting things
answer.
very, It was just a natural progression. I think he's going to set a career high in 3-point field goal percentage, which is great because he's had some good years. He shot 41% one year.
Whoa.
He shot 40% another. You know what? I think 41.5%. I could see
Unbelievable.
41.2%. I think I predicted Monte to lead the team at 41.5. So
you got to
JaMychal Green, I got to bump it down.
Can't wait to watch these.
We
and see how
definitely need to cross-reference. On
Somebody's going to compile all our predictions.
real conflicting.
No, but here I am serious about JaMychal's 3-point percentage. We're already at Harrison here for a second. I do want to pull on this thread for a little bit. JaMychal Green, unlike Jerami Grant, doesn't want to be a number one option. He doesn't want to see what it looks like when he goes left, right, dribble to the basket that's a mid-range floater. He just wants to shoot corner threes. And guess what? He's going to get an opportunity to shoot a bunch of those this year because I think the Nuggets have more offensive weapons than they have had in recent years. Somebody's just going to be unguarded, and I think it's going to be JaMychal Green.
Mm-hmm. I could see it. So what's impressive about my bold prediction that he's going to start 30 games is I had no idea that was what the over-under was.
Did you?
Oh, wow. You didn't read the sheet.
Did you go over on that?
Yes, starts at
was
least
in
at the
there.
beginning. Yeah,
I mean, on the over-under? Okay, good.
Yeah, I went over. So I think Paul Millsap will begin the year as the starter at the 4. But, injuries, load management, that stuff is going to happen a lot this season. And JaMychal Green just might be like a more useful player by the end of the year. I could see it.
Yeah, Millsap could very well have not much left in the tank. By the end
Also,
of the year.
maybe Paul Millsap had some backup 5 this season.
Yeah, I
Mini
can see
lads.
And
Mini
we could
lads.
see that the smash 'em, bash 'em, whatever, rock 'em, sock 'em front court of JaMychal Green and Paul Millsap.
Is that just
somewhere?
because they're the same person?
They are totally the same person.
I think
by the way.
Jokic will like JaMychal Green. I mean, I don't know, but I think he'll like him in part because he's from Alabama, and I feel like Sombor is the Alabama of
Oh, boy.
Serbia from
Sure.
everything I've heard.
Yeah,
From
sure.
everything I've heard.
Checks out.
Anyway, Eric.
Well, my bold prediction, of course, is that I believe that he'll provide more scoring than Grant did. I believe that
Oh wow,
he will step in.
Wow, that's really bold.
And he will, whereas Grant, what did we say? He had 16 points a game? Is that where he was last year? Is that what you
Jeremy
just said?
Grant
No,
scored
no,
16.
no.
No, it was like 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What was the? I thought that's whatever. Anyway, 12. I think
12 points per game.
Yeah, 12. Like I think that he'll
Man,
be
that's a big.
bring more scoring punch than Jeremy Grant did.
That's
because
the
again,
most bold
Jeremy
take you've
Grant
ever
did
had.
not.
Yeah, it's
listen,
pretty bold.
Jeremy Grant was not as impressive as we wanted to remember him as. Because he was so impressive in that Lakers series.
Yeah.
It colored our view of him throughout the entire season. The whole season we were sort of like, this guy seems like he should be better than he is. Adam would frequently scream that he was a big athletic guy that used no athleticism in
Yeah,
his
he
game.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't.
And so, from that standpoint, I mean, like you're saying, JaMychal Green's not going to try to be an athletic player. He's going to be a knockdown shooter from the corner, and that's going to be very valuable to this team, especially if he finds himself on the second unit. So I think that's why I said that.
Well, I'm excited to have him. I'm excited to kind of get to know him. I do wonder sometimes, Jeremy Grant was only here for 1 year, and it felt like as the year went on, he got more ingrained into the team.
Well, 100%.
And I just think that's a part of this is like building chemistry takes time.
1,000,000%.
And JaMychal Green, we're talking about this year, so it might take a while for him to fully develop that chemistry.
Yeah.
We'll find out together. This is the end of part 1, though, guys. Hopefully you're catching up on the entire series, all 17 players. We've been doing this. It's been a grind, but we're getting through every single one of them.
Would not recommend watching them back to back.
I do recommend
You'll get quite annoyed with the same jokes over and over.
But across a week, they'll all hit. Trust us.
So you're going to want to check those out on YouTube. And then, of course, the bonus content. George Karl's going to talk. He knows him very well, actually. We got some wind chimes. We got Fan Vogt, Irrational Fan Vogt. Go to thednvr.com. $5 a month gets you access to all of our premium content. Plus a
$5.
T-shirt. Just $5. You're not going to want to miss it all year. You're not going to want to miss this episode. See you next time.